Great. Welcome everyone to the Town of Greater Napanee Committee Adjustment for the 26th day of August 2025. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, and we'll call the meeting to order. Look for a motion for the adoption of the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Calver. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Look for a motion for the adoption of the minutes of the committee adjustment for the 22nd day of July 2025 to be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Norrie, seconded by Councillor Shank. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. First matter on this evening's committee of adjustment is land severance. Land severance application PLCOR 2025-031. Address is 1798 County Road 12, roll number 1121-080-060-11050. Owner is Omar Oda. Applicant is Omar Oda. And as we always do, is there anyone here to speak for or against this application? Okay, sir. So, and you are? Here, Omar. Wonderful. Welcome, sir. We'll give you an opportunity to speak if you want afterwards. We're going to hear the presentation of Mr. Nanton, and then if you want to speak, then you're more than welcome to come up. We'll check in on you, okay? Great. Thank you. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. So I'll provide a brief presentation for the application. PLCOR 2025-031. And just for reference, this is the application that was deferred at a recent Committee of Adjustment meeting. So to recap, the subject lands of the application are shown here on red on the slide. And they're approximately 37 hectares in area along County Road 12 and across from Brownside Road. Surrounding uses in the area include low-density rural residential uses, open field agriculture, as well as some livestock facilities in the area. The site is owned rural and is designated rural through the official plan. The intent of the application, to recap, is to create a 0.8 hectare lot at the northeast corner of the site, shown here in yellow, approximately a 2 acre lot, leaving a retained lands of plus or minus 36 hectares. With respect to the application, the county had no objection to the proposed severances, but advised an entrance permit would be required. Quinte Conservation did complete a site inspection and confirmed they have no objection to the severances proposed. With respect to conditions of approval, staff completed a windshield survey to verify the findings of the MDS, which was the subject matter for the requested deferral for the original application. As a result of the MDS findings were found to be acceptable as a result of the total available floor area within the existing structures on the retained lands. Staff have recommended a condition just limiting the number of livestock that can be housed just to accommodate and align with the MDS requirements. Moving to our recommendation, the application is found to be consistent with the provincial planning statement, have appropriate regard for the Planning Act, and conform to the policies of the county and town official plan. The approval of the application is recommended, subject to conditions. I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Dave. Is there any questions or comments with respect to President? Go ahead, Councillor Shank.
Dave, 120 sheep, not to exceed. Is that, what about cattle?
Thank you for the question, and through you. So I did some broad calculations about the square area. I really looked to maximize what was a reasonable threshold and limit. Sheep are what's contained now. If cattle was to be pursued, they'd probably have to come forward with a different type of MDS calculation to confirm. As part of the development agreement, I could do a calculation which kind of quantifies the maximum yield of some of the more traditional livestock that's housed in the community. That's something that could be easily embedded, and hopefully the applicant would be willing to entertain that into the agreement itself.
So, no, I don't want to delay it. He's already did his MDS. It's just that, let's say he sells the rest of the land. And let's say I went ahead and bought the rest of the 37 hectares, and I need another feed lot or another, put some heifers in that area, and we had a year that had some rain and I had some more pasture. I could go ahead and throw, let's say, 100 head on there. So would that, if I ended up doing that, would that preclude me? Because there's a house right there that I couldn't throw, if I bought that land, throw as many head that I could on that property that would for pasture. I'm a prospective buyer. Let's say if I was a prospective buyer and he didn't want to sell it, would I be limited to do that as a farmer?
Thank you for the question, and through you. The proximity to the closest receptor to the east would be the next lot over. Like we're also on the margins of what that increase or limitation would be with respect to the number of receptors that are already in the area. But yes, it would restrict a little bit more because it'd be that much closer to the structures itself.
Great, thanks, Councillor Shank. Is there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation that the committee receive for information the staff report for application PLCOR 2025-031 and further that the application to sever a 0.8 hectare lot be granted subject to a number of conditions that are contained within this evening's report. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks. Is there any further comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion that's on the floor. Opposed, motion's carried. Next matter up is minor variance application. Minor variance application PLVAR 2025-012, applicant A. Feigin. Property is 402 Dundas Street West. Roll number is 1121060010177701. And once again, is there anyone here to speak for or against the application? Yes. And are you here to speak for or against? And okay, you're the applicant, and it's just same as the matter before us. If we have any questions, we can ask you, or if you have any comments that you would like to make after Mr. Natton does his presentation, then we'll give you the opportunity. So great, thank you. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, and through you. So this evening, I will provide a quick presentation for the application for minor variance submitted for 402 Dundas Street West. To begin with some site context, the property in question is outlined in red on the slide, and it's situated again on Dundas Street West across from Dewey Hunt Drive. The waterfront lot is in an area consistent with low-density residential development. There are some townhouse developments across on Dewey Hunt Drive, and the site is zoned residential type 2 and environmental protection close to the waterfront, and is designated low-density residential and environmental protection through the official plan. Moving to the intent of the application. So the application, which was previously heard in May and deferred, is to grant relief for the existing accessory structure to be permitted within 9 meters of the high water mark, therefore requesting a 6-meter reduction in the minimum setback of the structure. Technical comments received for the application include those from Quinte Conservation, who indicated the shed is under the threshold of 10 square meters and is exempt from the regulation concerning development in the floodplain, and therefore staff had no objection to the application. With consideration for floodplain hazards, staff requested that the owner have a qualified professional review the structure and its location and provide a letter of opinion. Based on the receipt of a supportive stamped letter of opinion from a professional engineer for the location and construction of the structure, staff have no objections to the application. Public comments were received for the application, which were circulated with the meeting agenda. Staff considered these comments previously and recommended deferral of the application in May to allow for further review. Through the completion of the letter as kind of is specified here, staff have no remaining concerns for the application and believe public comments of concern have been appropriately addressed. Moving to our recommendation, the application was considered against the 4 tests of a minor variance, and it was determined the requested variance meets the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, is deemed to be desirable for the appropriate development and use of the lands, and is minor in nature. Therefore, staff are approving recommendation of approval. I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Thanks. Is there any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Norrie. We have a motion to move the staff recommendation by Councillor Norrie. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Martin. Is there any further comments, questions, or concerns with respect to the motion that's on the floor? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion that's on the floor? Opposed, the motion is carried. Next matter, minor variance application PLVAR 2025-037, applicant Christa Brough, owner Kievan Kalantarifiroozabad, and I apologize if I didn't do a very good job with that. Roll number 1121-160-030-29552. Address is in Noxon Road, Geographic Township of Adolphustown. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this matter? Seeing none, go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, and through you. So I'll provide a quick presentation for the minor variance submitted for the property along Noxon Road. To begin with the site context, the lands here shown in red are located at the southeast corner of Noxon Road and Dorland Drive. The area is consistent with development of low-density residential uses with the bay and several water courses that are nearby. The property is zoned Shoreline Residential Exception 2 and is designated Shoreline Residential through the official plan. Moving to the intent of the application, and I apologize, the details are hard to see on this scale drawing, is to grant relief from the front, exterior side yards, as well as the minimum setback to the environmental protection zone, which is located off the site to the far south. Through the application, relief is sought to reduce the minimum setback from the EP to 21 meters, so a 9-meter reduction. And the applicant seeks to permit an 8.5-meter exterior yard setback for the dwelling and a 4-meter minimum exterior yard setback for the septic tank. And further, the application seeks to permit a 7.5-meter minimum front yard setback for the dwelling. No public comments were received for the application. The county had no objection, and the Kalantarifiroozabad Conservation Authority had no objection to the application as well. Town review resulted in no comments of concern for the application. Moving to the recommendation, the application has been considered against the 4 tests for minor variance, determined the requested variance maintains the general intent of the official plan, the zoning bylaw, is deemed to be desirable for the appropriate development and use of the lands, and is minor in nature. This recommendation is brought forward as this existing lot of record is quite constrained. It's a fairly modest single-family detached dwelling that's being proposed, and they've done their best to work within the constraints to provide appropriate setbacks where they can. The application therefore meets the 4 tests for minor variance, and therefore approval is recommended. I'm available for comments or questions. Thank you.
Great. Do we have any questions or comments with respect to this application? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation the committee receive for information the staff report application PLVAR 2025-037, and further that the application for the property with roll number 1121-160-030-295252 requesting the number, there's a following variances to be approved, which are contained within our agenda this evening. Moved by Councillor Norrie, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Next matter, minor variance application PLVAR 2025-039. Applicant Sean Patrick McCaffrey, 377 County Road 8, Napanee, roll number 1121-120-020-04609. Do we have anyone here to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, your update.
Thank you, and through you. So I will provide a presentation for the minor variance submitted as outlined. Beginning with the site context, you may remember this application as it was previously the subject of a lot addition application that was heard recently. These lands are located on the east side of County Road 8 in an area characterized by low-density residential development. The property is close to the Southview Public School, which is situated north of the site, and open field agricultural and small-scale commercial uses are also in the area. The subject property is zoned rural residential, which permits the existing uses. Moving to the intent of the application, the relief sought is to reduce the minimum lot area by 1 square meter for the property. The application was submitted to address a condition of provisional approval for the lot addition application as previously discussed. So when the lot area is to be transferred, it will further increase the non-complying lot area, which needed to be resolved through an application. Moving to technical comments, there were no comments of concern received by the public, and the county and Kalantarifiroozabad Conservation Authority had no concerns. Internal town departments also had no comments. Therefore, staff are bringing forward the recommendation as the application's been considered against the 4 tests for minor variance and is deemed appropriate, and we are recommending approval. I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Is there any questions or comments with respect to this application? Go ahead, Councillor Shank.
I'll move staff recommendations, but I have a question also, Dave. May I ask why, for 1 square meter, that you would have to go through the cost and everything else for 1 square meter on a corner of a lot? Is there a minimum that, or that's, yeah, I don't know what the cost of a minor variance is today, but to get 1 square meter, I'm going, my goodness, that's a lot of paperwork for just 1 square meter.
Thank you for the question and through you. So I agree in principle, it is extremely modest and really meets the definition of what minor in nature is. So there are no real provisions for us to lean on through the act or regulations to say this is under an X threshold, we don't need a minor variance. Through the consent process, if we further the non-compliance and we don't do this for what's a couple $100 application fee, the risk is that we're passing the buck down the line when they go to sell the property or to a new future owner because it's not zone compliant, and that becomes a nightmare that somebody has to figure out. So we're trying to not do that. And I know this is administratively wild. Yeah.
Great. We have a mover in Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks, and it really is minor in nature, isn't it? So we do have a motion on the floor. The committee received for information the staff report application PLVAR 2025-039 and further that the application for 377 County Road 8 requesting the following variance be approved, and the variances included within this evening's agenda. We do have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further conversations or questions, all in favor of the motion is on the floor. Opposed, motion's carried. Thanks, folks, and we'll look for a motion to adjourn the Committee of Adjustment. Moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Calver. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion. Opposed, motion's carried. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock for a regular session of council.